Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special installment of AV Veterans Talk Radio here at Aerotech. In remembrance of Memorial Day, we're looking back on interviews with World War II veterans that have since passed away. In this segment, we hear Harry Selling's story, B-17 combat pilot from Europe in World War II.
Harry, you there?
Yep.
Harry Selling, you are a guy that came across my ledger there. I was talking to Mark Foster, and he knows I do a radio show, and he was talking about you, and he seems to think you're the quintessential awesome story. You're his favorite docent, and I better not say that stuff because you're going to get all the other docents all mad at you. And I'm sure every one of the docents down there are great people because they all have a story to tell. And God bless you guys because you volunteer. You take your time and you go out there and you inform the public. So we're having that stuff. But Harry, B-17 pilot, you're the first on my show. I've had B-24 guys and B-24.
Well, you know we won the war, don't you?
Oh, I know you did. And, every B-17 had an extra crew member, but everybody says like they had a public relations officer for every B-17.
Well, we had two waist gunners.
Yes.
So we could have an extra. We had an extra.
Yes, absolutely. But even though I know Audi Fix and stuff, towards the end of the war, they got rid of the extra waist gunner, and they
did.
They made him do double duty. Yeah.
Well, they said if the enemy's out that window, go shoot at him.
Exactly. And usually on the other side, you had another bomber in the formation, right? So you didn't have to shoot at the other guy. So, so Harry, you before we go to the bottom here, what have I got? I got about 2 minutes here and stuff before the bottom of the hour. You were born and raised here in Southern California?
Started out in Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo, New York. Oh, that'll make Carter here happy. He's got New York connection. By the way, I have Carter Green here. Say hi to Harry.
Hi, Harry.
Hi, Carter.
And Steve.
Yeah, my oldest son lives in Binghamton. It's kind of a little bit south of Buffalo, but anyway, it's upstate New York.
Is he a dependent?
Is he a dependent?
No.
Anybody that lives in New York is a dependent to anybody that lives in California, right?
Right, exactly.
There you go. So
there's never enough money to live in New York.
That's right.
Oh, well, he does pretty good. He works for the county, actually.
Oh, see,
he does?
We're going to leave that there. I don't want to get into county workers. And also, I got Steven on board. Hey, Steve, say hi to Harry there.
Hey, Harry, how you doing today?
Good, Steve.
Yeah. So anyway, so you're in New York back there, and what was really kind of neat was as you and I were talking yesterday. I'm in the P-38 National. These are all P-38 guys here that are with me and stuff. And you actually, before the war broke out, or did the war going when you came out to work for Lockheed?
Yes, the war was going.
Yeah.
Not that we were not in it.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because, yes, I graduated from high school and went to work for Lockheed.
Right.
At 51 cents an hour.
51 cents an hour. That was big bucks back then, wasn't it? Or no?
And then I needed more money, so I worked nights for 6 cents.
6 cents?
More.
Yeah. So now what was the 6 cent a night job? What did that look like?
It was the swing shift.
Oh, so you were working 2 shifts at Lockheed.
No, I'm working the second shift.
Second shift, okay.
But you could work for the graveyard only 6.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
And get paid for 8.
Oh, I got you.
They still do that.
Yeah.
But don't do it. I recommend do not do it.
Do not do it. So, Carter here worked for Lockheed for how many years did you work?
35 years.
He worked for Lockheed for 35 years on planes that were a lot faster than what you were dealing with, I guess.
Well, I was with the Hudson.
Oh, the Hudson.
Okay.
Yeah, very cool. And it was
and the Loadstar.
And the Loadstar, right? Exactly. And that was an early on. Yeah, it was an early on airplane there. So
we were building them for the Brits.
Absolutely. And it also went by the name of the Boston. Was that right or no? It had the Hudson and the Boston. I think the Hudson was American and the Boston was the European version of it or something like that. But never mind. I digress. Let me get back to the subject matter. So anyway, Harry retired from the Air Force as a major in, I believe, 1961. Is that right, Harry?
Yes, correct.
1961 there. So B-17 pilot, you started your training down in Southern California in Santa Ana, correct?
Right, that's classification center.
Right, and so you went through that whole process, which is really, I remember the movie, it was Winged Victory. And in the movie Winged Victory, they had that section there where they were going through Santa Ana down there. And it was pretty intense, wasn't it, down there?
It was. And there's where they determined whether you were going to be a pilot or a bombardier or a navigator.
Right. And of course, the one thing is there was, once you were sent off to pilot training, it was like you'd won the lottery, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the navigators and bombardiers, I guess, were kind of looking down at their shoes shuffling. But
and they said to themselves, how did this happen?
Exactly. So I thought I did pretty good when I was here. But, how those tests played out and how they classified that, I guess we'll never really know. But, that's for the higher ups. But when you were notified that you were going to be a pilot, that phone call to your parents, I'm sure, was your mother and father still alive at that time?
My father died before I was born.
Okay, so it was just your mother.
So my mother was a widow at my birth.
Okay, and
that was in Buffalo, New York.
Right, and. So she came. Did she come out with you when the war started, or did she still stay back in Buffalo?
No. We lived in California.
You lived in California. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So you got to make that phone call or telegram or whatever, and says Mom, I've been accepted into pilot training. Was that an exciting thing for the family? I'm sure it was. I know you were probably on cloud nine, but how did the family respond to that kind of news?
Well, she really had no grasp of what I was going through.
Okay.
She just smiled and said, "That's nice."
Oh, okay. So.
Well, let me back up a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
When I was working at Lockheed as a riveter, I was concerned with my hearing.
Okay.
And I went to the head of the department, Department 10, which is fuselage, and I said, I need to be in final assembly. I need to get out of here. I think I'm losing my hearing. He said, Harry, you're winning the war. We can't lose you.
Yeah.
And he said, I've given you 2 deferments. You don't have to go.
Right.
And I said, well, I think I better quit. So now I'm subject to the draft.
Right. Okay.
So I went up to City College on North Vermont, and they had a course there, prepare yourself for the Air Force test, because you could either get in through a test or 2 years of college.
Right.
So I went to the class, and it was standing room only. And the instructor said, take the test tomorrow, and you'll see what's on, and you'll know what to study.
Right.
And to everybody's surprise, I took it and passed it.
Wow.
So now I'm ready to be sworn in.
Right.
But they didn't call me from April 6th. I was sworn in.
Okay.
But then they called me in November, so I had to get another job. I worked for Goodrich.
Oh, Goodrich.
Yeah, repairing de-icer boots.
And amazing. I just had a guest on our show. She's from Orange County down there. She was a Rosie the Riveter, and she worked at Goodyear, doing fuel cells for P-38s. So I guess
those
that was
self-sealing.
Yeah,
self-sealing.
Right. So I guess there was a big rubber industry down in that area and stuff.
It really was.
Yeah.
You had U.S. Tire and Rubber, Goodrich, and Goodyear.
Yeah, all down there and stuff. Wow, amazing. Yeah. So you finally got called in, and you went through Santa Ana, and then you made your way up to Oxnard to the Cal Aero Field there, the C.C. Mosley School.
Right.
Checked out the steerman. How was that steerman and your instructor? Did you get along good with him?
It was just, we had these toys, and we were just having a lark. It was like a country club.
Okay.
And we had scarves, silk scarves, and leather jackets.
Yes.
And by the time we had 65 hours, you couldn't even talk to us. We were so cocky. You need an ego to fly, to be a combat.
I know it's stuff.
Otherwise, you won't get out of bed.
Yeah, that's right. No kidding, man.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, man, Harry. So, I talked to other pilots. I don't think they had it as good as you, I guess. It was the fear of washing out was always the one thing that was hanging over your head, right?
Well, it was, but it was so easy for me. It was just the whole thing was a lark.
You were a natural to it, so
yeah.
So you got out of there. You headed up to Taft, to Gardner Field there, and you got into BT-13. And how'd that training go?
Well, you had a propeller control, and you had flaps, and you had a radio, so it gave you a little more things to do.
Right.
And they gave us 65 hours of that, and then all we did was just rat race and chase each other.
Right. Did you ever do those navigation trips up to, like, Daggett and things like that?
Yeah, but we used water towers and railroads.
Well, real high-end navigation system there that you have. So
there's every water tower has a label on it.
Yeah,
you can't get lost.
I guess not and stuff. And of course, the Central Valley there. If you ever got yourself in trouble, there's plenty of flat landscape to land out there, right? So,
you got Highway 101 or 5 or whatever,
99 and all that stuff.
Yeah, 99. Yeah, right. Before 5.
Right, and so then after that, advanced, you went down to Texas. Or
Marfa. There's a lot of snakes there. Don't ever go to Marfa.
Okay, we'll put that on the
That's
list
the
right
worst.
here. Okay, Marfa, no, lots of snakes. Okay, got that. All right, you're going to go there, and then you got into twin engine, or you were in advanced, and then you went to multi-engine with the Bamboo Bomber, which was the C-78 or something, I believe it was.
UC-78.
UC-78 there.
It had a built-in headwind.
Yes.
It would not fly on one engine.
It would not. So it was the quintessential glider. Yeah.
Seek a landing.
Seek a landing. That was the thing.
When you lose the engine, you better find someplace to land
Real fast. So
yeah.
Wow. Well, that just made you a better pilot, though, because you're always flying.
Right. Exactly.
So from there. Now you realized you were going to be a multi-engine guy, so you got off over to B-17s. I think you said you went to another field in Texas.
Roswell.
There. Oh no, New Mexico.
That's where the aliens are.
That's right and stuff. And you were pre-aliens, right? I believe.
Right.
Yeah. So that came.
But we also had German prisoners there.
That's right. Absolutely.
They could mow the lawn, wash your car, and go to dinner on Sundays with you.
All right, and stuff. And I bet you Oktoberfest was always a blast in Roswell, New Mexico, with German prisoners. So
they were all 6 foot and blonde.
There you go. So
they came out of Africa.
Oh, yeah, there you go. The Africa Corps, out of the Rommel Corps there.
Right. Yes.
So, all right. So you finally qualified. You got with your B-17 acceptance, and you're flying around in those kind of questionable B-17s here stateside. But then you formed up your crew in Miami or Florida, I believe.
Avon Park.
Right. And is that where you were first introduced to your whole crew?
Yes.
Okay.
And the G model, we got a new model.
Okay.
We were trained in Fs, and this was a G with a chin turret.
Right, absolutely.
And all shiny,
absolutely.
No camouflage.
Right. So when you got your crew together, and then I know you ended up in the 474th, I think.
457.
457th bomb group, and the what was it?
Glatton.
Right. So when you did you fly over, or did you go by boat?
No, I went by boat.
You went by boat. So when
we were all going over, we were all touching.
You were all touching, so you were packed like cordwood again, and stuff.
Yes, exactly.
What kind, was it a Liberty ship, or was it a converted?
No, it was the SS Butner.
SS Butner. I got you. And because you were all officers, did you eat good, or did you get to? How did that work?
Yeah, we were really stroked. It was good.
Yeah. Okay. So now, when you got over to England, and you of course you left your B-17G back in the States, but you were assigned a new airplane. As a new crew, did you get the hand-me-down B-17s? Or did they have a nice shiny plane waiting there for you, or how did that work?
It was just the luck of the draw. You got to do a new plane every day.
You did.
You never got the same one.
Oh, okay. So I guess the nose art thing never really came into vogue with you and all that, or did
it was there, but the plane I was shot down on was the American Eagle, but we never knew what we were going to fly.
Yeah. So, and when you got over there and adjusting to the English weather, I know you were shot down in September, so you must have been flying your missions there towards the late summer, early fall.
Right.
Yeah, and
there was most of the time the missions were not scrubbed because of weather. It was good.
Yeah, so you went up there. At that point, fighter escort and all that good stuff. You were actually getting the escorts you were needing, right? At that time.
Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
The day that I was shot down, of course, I didn't ever see any escort, but
yeah,
the escort was earlier.
Right. Okay. At that point, I'm thinking 44. The P-51s were not really in mass numbers. We had the Jugs there, the Thunderbolts that could only go so far. P-38s were starting to come into numbers there a little bit. Do you remember any specific? Was it mostly when you did get fighter escort? Was it more Thunderbolts, Lightnings, or Mustangs? Do you remember? Mustangs were coming in there. Yeah. So
the Thunderbolts really, had 8 guns, so they were really doing a lot of damage, strafing.
Right. So now,
then of course when the Battle of the Bulge, D-Day.
Yes.
we started to have the 9th Air Force, which was stationed in France.
Right.
So it helped with fuel and everything.
Yeah, because you could pick up your escorts over France, which means they could go deeper into Germany.
Exactly.
And all that stuff. So, yeah, okay. Like I said, we're down to a minute for our break here, and I'm going to lead everybody in there. Then, your life changed. Your 7th mission, you were shot down. And a pretty heroic, very difficult situation that you were put into. When we come back, we're going to follow that journey through being shot down, captured, and time as a guest of the German government. So hang in there, Harry, and we'll be right back, okay?
I'm Bob Alvis, and thanks for joining us for this week's segment of AV Veterans Talk.